Hey guys, welcome to the channel or welcome back. My name is Ania, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how we're reaching our savings goals in 2021. It's officially the new year, so happy new year. I have so much to say on this topic, so if you find anything in this video helpful, be sure to leave a comment down below, and let's go ahead and get into the video. So if you're like me, saving money is a personal goal I set every single year. Now, whether you're setting a financial goal for financial freedom, to save up for something like a house or a car or another big ticket item, or you're simply just wanting to save money for a rainy day, these are all really good reasons to have a savings goal. So in my current situation as of right now, I'm able to save over half my income. But before you click off this video, I have also saved money while basically living paycheck to paycheck. And during that time, I was able to not only save money, but also pay off over $4,000 worth of debt. So that looked like 2 maxed out credit cards and part of my car loan. And when I moved here, I ended up finishing my car loan, and that is how in 2019, I ended up paying off $9,000 worth of debt altogether. So I think I have a little bit of knowledge on this topic. So I realized that my relationship with money was strained because I wasn't managing it. It's very hard to save money when you don't know where your money is going, because in your mind, you're spending money on the things that you think you need in the moment. But then when you turn around, you're like, well, I have no idea what I've actually been spending money on this month. I just know that I don't have it anymore. And that was something that happened to me quite frequently. And that is where the feeling of living paycheck to paycheck comes from. You don't know what's coming in or what's going out. So it's very hard to realize that you might have some extra money in your budget to save money with. And even if you're saving a little bit every month, you'll start to see that it turns into a bigger result as you continue to do so. So these are the steps we're gonna take in 2021 to reach our savings goal. Now let's start out with an example. Let's say that our goal is to save $5,000 for the year of 2021, right? Don't look at that as a big scary number. It's not. You're more than capable of doing it, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how. Okay, so the first thing that you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to create a budget and figure out realistically how much money you can save every month from that budget. Now, the crazy thing about starting a budget is you realize that you actually have a little bit of wiggle room in the money that you're spending. It's crazy. It's almost like you get a raise. That's the best way to describe it. It's definitely how I felt when I created my first budget. I didn't realize how much extra money I actually had, that I was just kind of mindlessly spending on fast food, on shopping, and basically just on things that I didn't really need in the moment, and I could put those towards bigger savings goals. Okay, so if you divide $5,000 by 12 months in the year, you end up with around $417 you have to save every month in order to reach this goal. Now, for some of you guys, you're gonna think, okay, $417, how can I break that down? Let's say you get 2 paychecks every half of the month, right? Or you get paid every 2 weeks, or some people get paid every week, so they have 4 paychecks, whatever you wanna do. But let's just say in our 2 paycheck example, you save $217 from your first paycheck and $200 from your second paycheck. Bam, at the end of the month, you have $417 saved. You do that for the duration of the year, and at the end of the year, you will have successfully saved $5,000. But for some of us that are struggling with money, you're gonna think, okay, $417, that's too much money to put towards savings. I need to take care of necessities first. Taking care of those necessities don't leave that much money. Okay. So then you're in the same boat that I was in. And what I decided to do was pick up some extra side jobs and side hustles in order to create that missing income. So when I was living in an apartment and I felt like I was living paycheck to paycheck, I didn't really have money to do anything fun. What I decided to do was I was like, I am going to save my first $1,000 from my rainy day fund. Now, in order to do this, I needed to make some extra income because my one income alone wasn't gonna cut it. So I worked my full-time job, so 5 days a week, 8 hours every single day. I did some in-home care work where I made some extra money. I did that for 4 hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which were my days off. And then I also worked DoorDash on the weekends. So Friday through Sunday, I worked on DoorDash with the goal to make $100 after taxes every day that I was doing DoorDash. So that was about $300 extra a week. And that really changed the game for me. That is why I was able to pay off both of my credit cards. It's why I was able to put more more money towards my car loan. It's why I was able to save for things like buying presents for people's birthday. Like, could you imagine at one point I wasn't able to do that? Or even if I knew that I needed some things for me that I necessarily wouldn't be able to afford before because bills were just eating up all of my money, I was able to put some money aside for that. Just be like, oh, here's $20 here, here's $20 there, and then bam, now I can get the extra things that I need for myself. And I can also start to get some things that I want. But you want to focus on your needs first, because your needs are going to motivate you the most, and your wants are kind of just, once it's a slippery slope. So just focus on the things that you absolutely need first. So now that you have an idea of how to reach this goal, it's really about putting in the work to get there, right? So this is obviously going to be the hardest part. It requires a lot of discipline and a lot of consistency. You need to make sure this is something you actually want to do and not something you just think you want to do. Saving money is great because when you first start saving money and you see that number go up and up, you kind of become like addicted to it almost. Then you're going to want to always save money because you're like, wow, this is something I can do. And then it just becomes a part of your daily routine. It just becomes a part of your life month to month. You know that you're gonna be saving a certain amount, and you know this amount is not money that I have. It's not extra money. It's for a rainy day. It's for an emergency situation, so I'm not gonna touch it. And that was one of the biggest things, I will admit, when I first was getting into saving, that was really difficult. It was hard to not go back and use that money when I just wanted something that cost a little bit extra, and you think, well, I just need an extra $30 to get it, and I have $30 saved over here, so I'm just gonna take it and I'll put it back, and then it just becomes a rat race of going back and forth. You really need to decide, I'm gonna put this money here and I'm not gonna touch it. Now, for some people, doing this is easier said than done when they're saving it in an account that they can't get to. So I would recommend, saving in a credit union, because typically it's harder to get to that money if you need it. And this could be a great tool for people who are very eager to grab that money. If it's harder to get it, you're less likely to try and go for it. For some people, saving that in cash is the best way to do it. Now, I recommend doing this with smaller amounts, but this is something that I did, and it's something that really, really helped me actually save money. The fact that I knew I could put it away, but I also knew that it was safe, and close, but not close enough that I could still get to it, basically. So yeah, you have to figure out which way really works for you. Some people, when they're on a budget, they use cash envelopes, which I'm a huge fan of. Some people are able to manage it through their debit card. You also want to keep in mind that when you're sliding a piece of plastic, it doesn't set off pain receptors in your brain the same way that cash does. When you spend cash and you physically have to hand somebody money, it actually hurts you inside to have to give that money away. But when you're just using a card, it's not the same thing. You don't have that same pain receptor, so you're more likely to feel comfortable spending money on a card than you are in cash. If you're one of those people, I would highly recommend doing some of your spending in cash to help you really get that budget down. So a system that I use is that if it's bills and certain other special situations, I will use my debit card to pay for those transactions. So, my bills are mostly auto pay bills, but I'm aware of every single thing that I'm paying for, including subscriptions and other things that come out of my account. I keep track of everything that comes in and everything that goes out. So that is why that system works for me. As long as I keep my bills and I know, okay, the money in my account that's not for spending, that's actually to make sure that all of my expenses get paid for that need to be paid for. And my cash is more for my spending outside of that. So if I wanna, not that we can go to the movies right now, but if I wanted to go to the movies or a concert or whatever, that money would be spent in cash. That way I have that sense of knowing, not only do I know exactly how much I have to spend because that cash is separated and completely for that fund, but it also hurts to spend it. So I'm more likely to pick and choose when I'm gonna spend that money. Do I really wanna go out this weekend, or do I wanna stay home instead? Or maybe I haven't seen people in a long time and I'm like, I know I want to do this, so I'm going to keep this money aside so I can enjoy this event or whatever with my friends and people that I care about and haven't seen in a long time. So it basically is broken up that way. So I want to provide you guys with some tools to help you out during this journey. And these are tools that I use every single month and that have really helped me. So I'm not just throwing out random things, and this is not sponsored at all. Like, I'm not even there yet, but these are things that I genuinely have used that have really helped me, and hopefully they will help you as well. So the first one is an app called EveryDollar. Now this app is used for budgeting specifically. There's a free version. I use the free version, and basically you can input the amount that you make or you're expected to make on your paychecks, and then you can accurately break it down by category what you want to spend in each. So for example, they have some categories already set up, like housing, rent, utilities, car insurance, etc. And you can make up your own if you're saving for anything from your budget. So emergency fund, or if you're trying to buy a new camera or buy a new fridge or whatever it may be, you can create your own categories as well. So it's very personalized to you. And then they will basically take care of the numbers for you, so you don't have to do any math. All you do is you put in your totals for how much you think you're gonna earn that month, and then you just break it down. And as you put $20 in this category, $200 in this category, it will tell you exactly how much money you have left to spend. So this is great because I'm hoping that when you guys put your information in, after your bills and expenses are taken care of, I want you to be excited about the number that you see left that you can use to pay for other things, or in this case, save, because that's what we're doing. We're saving money this year. That is a great tool, and again, something I use every month and is a really big help. So some of the other tools that I use is I actually have a specific journal just for budgeting, and this I use to keep track of all of my expenses and in each category. And also because I save a lot, I need to have a place to save it. So one of my main things that I do is I have what I call a sinking fund journal. Now, sinking funds are smaller savings accounts that you use for purchases that are like, what's the best way to explain it? I'll just give you an example. So like, I save for gifts for birthdays throughout the entire year. I save for my card tags, which is a really good one. I save for my anniversary. I save for Christmas. I save for things like that. And basically the way you use a sinking fund is you take a little amount every month from your check, you put it in your sinking funds, and then over time that amount starts to grow. And this has been incredible for me. It's really nice to know that I can look over and know that I have money for things like birthday gifts and stuff like that without having to sacrifice taking a ton of money from my check at a time. So let's put it this way, right? Let's say you have a niece's birthday coming up, and you know that you also had something planned for about $30, $40 that you were gonna take out of your check. Now you have to decide which one is more important. Do you get your niece a birthday gift, or do you do the thing that you had already planned? Sinking funds completely eliminate that, because if you save just $10 every month until the time of your niece's birthday, let's say 6 months, you have $60 saved. So now you can use that $60 to get her a gift without even thinking about it. And now you can use that $30, $40, $50 or whatever for what you planned to still do whatever you needed to do. You just making a small sacrifice for a bigger payout later. And so I have one of those journals that really helped me save money for the things that I wanted to do. And even some bigger things such as like travel if I wanted to go anywhere. Not in 2020, but you get what I mean. So that's what another tool that I've used that's really helped me save throughout this entire time. This is the journal that, or something similar to it, was what I used to save up the money in cash to pay off my credit cards before I actually paid them off. I found that when I was trying to use my accounts to save that money, it just wasn't happening. I always ended up having to use that money for something else, or so I thought. Because it was in my account, I felt that it was available. And as soon as I removed it from my account and made my account specifically for bills and necessities, that's when I was able to really start saving a lot of money. So I recommend you guys to try it, but remember, everybody's different. Just because it works for me doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna work for you. So another thing that I'm trying in 2021 is actually kind of funny mentioning this, because I just said that saving in cash works better for me, but there is going to come a point when you start saving money where you have too much to keep comfortably in cash. I really recommend that if you're gonna save in cash, save in small amounts, keep it somewhere safe where a lot of people do not know where it is. That's my advice to you. But now that you're starting to get into a point where maybe you have a little bit too much and you kind of don't feel comfortable having that in cash, then it's time to start looking at accounts and things like that. I also think once you've built up a tolerance and you've been saving money for a while, it will become easier to then move to an account because you'll kind of have more trust in yourself that you won't touch it. So I decided to join Ally Bank, which is a high yield savings account, and I am moving my bigger amounts there because one of the things that drew me towards Ally Bank was actually the fact that they have a feature called buckets. And basically buckets is basically just like my sinking fund journal, except it's online. I can create different buckets for each category of what I want to save for and distribute the money throughout there so that I can save everything I want to save, but it's still separated. And so once I found out that they did this, I was like, I have to check into that because it's awesome. But not only that, a high yield savings account means that they pay you higher interest for having money in the account. So think about it this way, your bank right now probably pays around 1% interest for when you open a savings account. So that's about a penny every month. Well, Ally Bank pays 50% interest. So that's pretty good. And I was like, it's not my main motivation for joining Ally Bank, the buckets were, but they have some really cool things like boosters. Well, they will analyze your spending and they will save accordingly, making sure that's money that's safe to save. So if you're somebody who you just haven't figured out a budget and you kind of are just frazzled, maybe you need a system like that that will analyze your spending for you and move money when it's safe to, and then it'll be like a little surprise every month. You'll be like, oh, this month I ended up saving like $50 and I didn't even notice. And that's could be a good tool. But I really suggest having a budget. It will change your life. But if you're one of those people who just thinks it's overrated, maybe you can try a system like that first. So go set that goal amount. Go pick a side hustle if that's something that you need to do. Create a budget that not only includes the amount you're gonna save every month, but make sure you're covering your necessities, and do not forget to put some money in there for yourself. Creating a budget is hard because it requires you to be disciplined and not just spend whenever you feel like it. And if we created budgets without money for ourselves, we would go absolutely insane. So you want to make sure you have a healthy balance of everything. You want to make sure that you're on your budget and you're sticking to the things that you need to, but you also don't want to feel like you're trapped and like you can't do the things you want to. So don't forget to add that in there. And also remember, when you're putting money away, put that money away and do not touch it. You will thank me later. It is very hard to do, but put that money in a place where you cannot easily reach for it and just save it. And don't forget those coins too. Make sure you save your coins because those can add up. There's also some great challenges out there, including the $1 challenge, the $5 challenge, and so on. And basically the way you complete these challenges is you give yourself a set of money. People typically do this with cash, and every time you get a $1 bill, you pull it out of your wallet and you save it. And basically over time, you'll just start to save these dollar bills as you're breaking down that cash, and then you'll have a couple extra dollars at the end of the month. It's the same idea with a $5 challenge. Good, fun way to get excited about saving money. So for me personally, I've learned throughout this journey that when you really believe that it's gonna work out, things tend to work out and things tend to come to you. This can be in the form of bonuses, money from friends or family for birthdays or Christmas or holidays, and from other external sources. Like you might just end up getting more than you thought you were gonna get on a check or another. Or if you end up picking up a side hustle, you'll see that you end up getting more tips than you thought you were gonna get. And so you're excited because tip money is yours. And so that is also just a little boost to keep your savings going and keep filling it up. And also, do not forget to include your tax return in that. If you get a tax return, don't be afraid to save most or even all of that money if you're able to. Now, if there's something you absolutely have to do, make sure you take care of yourself first. But if there's a possibility, I would save it. This is something that I do every year when I get my tax return. I will save it. It's also not terrible to treat yourself with some of it, but I would just make sure the majority of that money is going into your savings, and you will be happy about that later, promise. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you found anything helpful in this video, please leave a comment down below letting me know what it was. And if you have any other money tips, leave them down below in the comments and help somebody out. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next video.